Many times I'm tried and tested as I travel day by day. Oft I meet with pain and sorrow, and there's trouble in the way. But I have a sweet assurance that my soul the Lord will lead, and in him there is strength for every need. The Apostle Paul reports that he had a thorn in his flesh that consistently gave him trouble. He asked 3 times that this thorn be removed, but God's reply to his request was, "My grace is sufficient for you. My power is made perfect in weakness." To which Paul responded, "So now I am glad to boast in my weakness, so that the power of Christ can work through me." At one point on their journey through the wilderness, the Israelites sinned and found themselves surrounded by fiery and deadly serpents. When they cried out to God and to Moses to save them and take away the serpents, Moses carried their plea to God. Rather than take the deadly problem away, God offered salvation by a solution that required something of the people. He commanded Moses to make a brass serpent, place it on a pole in their midst, and when anyone was bitten, all they had to do was look upon the serpent and live. A foreshadowing of Jesus on the cross. In fact, Jesus says in John, "In the same way that Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, so people have something to see and then believe, it is necessary for the Son of Man to be lifted up, and everyone who looks up to him, trusting and expecting, will gain real life, eternal life." Dallas Willard asks this unique question: if Jesus knew that Peter was going to deny him, why didn't he just fix him and keep him from going through that painful experience? Part of what I see in these stories is that there is purpose in the process. I do believe in we reap what we sow. I am not convinced that everything happens for a reason. In fact, I think a more mature Peter may have simply made a different decision that day. I am grateful for what we can see and learn from these stories, and the gems of truth Jesus shares in the Beatitudes. We aren't expected to be perfect. In fact, we are blessed even when we're poor, mournful, hungry, or persecuted. Bob Goff says, "We can give ourselves the benefit of the doubt because we know God is always changing us and transforming us into people who look a little more like Jesus." Bob says, "God is taking the long view with us." Eugene Peterson and Bert Roberts would call that long obedience in the same direction. So let's have grace for ourselves and for others, and trust that perfect is not the goal, but engaging in the perfecting process is what kingdom living looks like. And remember, His grace is sufficient. Let it be so.